for Worlds 2021 playing stage C9 is now 2-0 in their group, and I have Fudge with me to talk about the game. Hi, how are you doing, and how was this game for you?
I think the game was pretty good. I think the game actually went really well. Surprisingly, I didn't expect them to flex Lilia top. So I thought I was playing against Graves top with Malphite, and I thought the lane would be pretty fine. But Lilia top is obviously a pretty hard matchup for me, and early game was really hard. And then they ended up like misplaying a lot at like level 3 or 4 when they took the 2v2.
Wait, I wanted to touch on the draft actually, because indeed they put Graves and Lilia. I didn't think Lilia would be still able to play on a solo lane. How did you adapt towards that, and explain the Malphite last pick?
Yeah. So Malphite last pick was mainly just because we thought it was Graves top.
Yeah.
And obviously Malphite was very good against their comp outside of lane. And we didn't expect them, well, we didn't really think about Lilia flexing to top lane because we haven't seen her a single time in scrims or solo queue or anywhere. Yeah. And although it is actually a really good flex by them, and it was a good adaptation by them in draft to actually put Lilia top lane.
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't go as well as it could have, but I do think that it was a pretty good adaptation by them.
Yeah, and I want to touch on the mid game also, because you were super ahead, but it feels like from 20 to 30 minutes, it was a bit harder to take on the fight, especially with the Yone going in your way. How did you overcome that to get the win in the end?
Well, I think at the end, it sort of was us playing slower and just bleeding them out, because usually like there was like 3 or 4 times where we tried to like dive them and then we like misplayed, got hit by a huge MF ulti, huge Yone, like a lot of Yone damage, Graves damage. So we sort of just started to play a bit slow, and then they ended up in like they sort of like tried to kill Silas 1v2, and then Luca like 1v2 them in bot lane, which is like obviously the game-winning play. But I do think we would have ended up winning regardless.
Yeah. It was a beautiful game from you guys in the end. And I also want to talk about you and your performance. You've been stellar so far at Worlds 2021. And I mean, it's improvements we've seen throughout summer from you, the Fudge Factor, you know it, we talked about it. But tell me about the new responsibilities you have within the team. Also getting the last pick here and your new role in C9 this summer and also at Worlds.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more learning to do. Like we learned a lot about how to play through top lane after MSI, because a lot of teams were sort of getting a lot better at punishing top lane whenever they had winning matchups, and you also have to play really well defensively whenever you're in those losing matchups. So we sort of just learned how to communicate well around top lane and how to defend every wave, how to punish them on every wave, stuff like that. And it's very important to do, otherwise you sort of just lose instantly to like especially like the Chinese teams. I think they do play really well around that.
Yeah, it's nice to see that you can carry from all around the map for C9. Now you have one last game to play at the end of the day against Galatasaray. How do you think it's going to go? Because they've been performing well yesterday. I feel they surprised everyone. How do you feel about this matchup?
I think we'll definitely win, but I do think they're probably the best opponent so far in the group. So I think it's probably going to be the most hype matchup, because I do think that whoever wins actually makes it first seed, I believe, according to standings. So it's going to be a very high matchup for sure.
For sure. Well, I wish you good luck on that. Thank you so much for this interview. And yeah, we'll see about later today for C9. And back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Laure, and welcome back to the State